What's going on, y'all? How are you? Hey.
Hey man, how's it going, dude? Welcome to my YouTube video, man. This is my YouTube channel, and well, so I like make stuff in my lawnmower shed, and well, I like to make things.
No, just kidding. That's not my voice. Just messing around. I'm out here in my lawnmower shed. Today I am messing around with this little knife that I got behind me and doing some hand sanding. Just thought I would throw this thing on, see if anybody pops on to say hey. And yeah, if you do pop on here, then throw a comment in there. Tell me your name, tell me what you're up to, and let me know what you guys are up to. What's up, Duck? Yo, what we doing? Duck, I'm gonna tell you right now, buddy, nothing too exciting. I'm doing some hand sanding. Super fun hand sanding on the blade. But yeah, nothing really super cool. Working on this little dude right here. This is actually a piece of what I tried to make last week or so. I forged out some Damascus, and I pretty much had like two of these going, and one of them split in half, and yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But yeah, so I took the one that split in half, and I made a little twist Damascus dagger out of half of it, and then this was the other half, and I'm trying to finish this thing out. I think it will be pretty cool once it's done. I did like a test etch on this thing, and it's not really technically Damascus. I don't think. It's probably more like a I don't know, like a Gomai maybe. It's probably like 5 or 6 layers, so we kind of have like a, I don't know, like a heartbeat sort of pattern in the steel. But it'll still be really cool, I think. Man, my Wi-Fi sucks. Give me a sec. Yeah, hopefully it's not my Wi-Fi. I typically don't go live all the way out here in the shed, so yeah, maybe it's me. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you come back. And like I said before, if you hop in here, say hey. Let me know what your name is, what you're up to today. I am working on this little blade that I've got, just doing some hand sanding. And yeah, just thought I would throw this on and say hey to y'all. This is a Gomai. That's what I'm going to go with. It's not a Damascus blade, but it's a Gomai blade. It might actually have maybe 6 layers in it. That's kind of what I'm guessing. And it should be pretty cool. Should have like the heartbeat thing going on once I get it etched. But I'm going to start out with some, what is this? Some 320 sandpaper, and we're just going to give it a little bit of a shine down, get it kind of buffed out a little bit, and then once we get it nice and clean, we'll dip it into the ferric chloride and see what kind of pattern we got going. This is the other one that I just finished up, so this is kind of the same from a similar billet. It's a little like twist pattern that I did with the other half of the billet, and it's nothing special. It's pretty much my first go at, you know, hand forging Damascus. So is it the prettiest thing ever? No, but I actually got a, you know, somewhat of a good piece of metal out of the process, and decided I would make just a little, you know, shop dagger for, I don't know what, stabbing things. I don't really stab anything, but maybe cutting things. It turned out all right, I guess. Definitely not super clean. The profile's kind of fugly. It's kind of bent in right here. You can see these little marks. You know, the center line's not great. Definitely not very good work. But I kind of knew going into this one that it was already shot, because it has some areas that the forge welding didn't really go well. And so I knew I wasn't going to turn this into a masterpiece. So I just thought I would finish it though. But yeah, anyway, so that was like half of one of these billets, and the other half I have down here that I'm hand sanding, and I'm kind of excited for this. It's a different profile than I normally do. Kind of has like a false edge to it here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna sharpen that yet or not, but yeah, it should be pretty cool. I did do a test etch on it a while ago, and you could see kind of like some heartbeat patterns going through it. I think that's kind of where I want to say maybe the 15 and 20 was sort of in this middle area. And there were multiple ridges, so there was one kind of close to the lower spot here and one up towards the top of the bevel. So it should be pretty cool. I'm excited to finish this one out. It's got a nicer profile than the little dagger, and yeah, I think for my first attempt at a like real Go My blade, it should be pretty cool once it's done. Just lost the light. Yo. See if I can fix that right fast. Hello? Maybe not. Technical difficulties. There we go. Ooh, that thing is bright. I got one of these, like, I don't know, light things here to try to help the brightness. Maybe you guys can see better, I don't know. I'm gonna put it back up for a second. Anyway, yeah, it looks like we got maybe 10 or 15 people in here. Why don't you, if you're in here, leave a comment, say hey, tell me what you guys are up to, and let me know what you're doing this weekend. I don't have a whole lot planned. Just gonna be hanging out here at the house and working on some knife stuff. It must be my Wi-Fi because I don't have anybody saying anything. Duck, I saw you for a second, but I'm not seeing any other comments. So if you're commenting, I can't see them, sorry. Anyway, yeah, so earlier today too, I woke up and just got onto YouTube and was looking through some stuff and noticed that I just passed 1,000 subscribers. So that is really wicked cool. I kind of set out to use that as my goal. Initially, when I first started making videos, I thought it'd be really cool to get to 100. It took me probably 3 or 4 months to get to 100. It took me 9 months to get from that to 500 subscribers, and took me another 5 months of that to get to 1,000. So almost 14 months in total that I've been doing this, making videos. I don't make them every day. I make one every week or every other week. So I don't post super regular, but yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm just a normal everyday dude. There's really not much special about me. My whole channel is just kind of my process of making knives. I try to do a lot of like educational stuff. Not that I'm some great master, but I kind of share some of the processes that I find along the way that help me in the certain knife making steps. So that's kind of what it's about. It must be my Wi-Fi because I see quite a few people in here, but no comments. Let me see if I open this door. Maybe the Wi-Fi will come in here if I open the door. Give me 1 second. Come on, Wi-Fi, get in here. Why you try to do me like that, Wi-Fi? Oh, hey, okay, cool. Tracy Stone, good evening from Upper New York. Right on, at work, getting it done. You are doing great work. Thank you, Tracy Stone. What part of Upper New York? I've got family that is from, where are they from? They're my family. I don't even know where they're from. Ogdensburg, Watertown, Syracuse. Is any of that ringing a bell? I think that's where they're from. Maybe you're from there. Who knows? Near Ithaca. Okay, I think I might know where Ithaca is, or I've at least heard of it. I think my dad went to Ithaca College or something. Ithaca State, maybe? I'm not sure. That's cool though. Upper New York is awesome. My cousin, her grandmother had a like a little cabin on the St. Lawrence River. So when we were kids, we would go there and fish and swim and do a lot of like kayaking on the St. Lawrence River. Really beautiful state, upstate New York. Very pretty. I'm in Missouri, so, you know, not quite as cool as upstate New York, but yeah, I'm in kind of south, oh, I don't know, southwest Missouri, I guess. So that's where I'd be. Anyway, yeah, so what I'm really doing today is just hand sanding, not really doing anything special. I'm not going to be doing any magic tricks to show you guys anything. So yeah, just kind of hanging out, hand sanding. I'm glad you guys are here and you're saying, hey, that's awesome. I'm gonna throw this blade back up here and get to hand sanding kind of the flat area. Really, I want all of this stuff to be super smooth, and that way when we go to etch it, you'll be able to see the pattern. You can see a lot of this is still really rough. It's kind of off the 120 grit belt, off of the belt grinder that I have over here. So I've got quite a bit of hand sanding to do, but I'm going to get to it. Yeah, this is a really good way if you are a knife maker. This is a great little thing to do for hand sanding. It's always hard to find a good spot to set it up, and I always like doing this, just kind of throwing it in a vise. You got like a 2x4 here, throw it in the vise, and then you can just clamp your blade down to the 2x4, and then that way you can get right over top of it and get some hand sanding done. Hopefully you guys can still hear me, and hopefully I can still see your comments. Just thinking maybe the Wi-Fi was not doing its job earlier. Had some trouble. It was even kind of like skipping out on my end, but maybe it will fix itself. Yeah, this hand sanding part of knife making is probably my most favoriteest part of it all. I just love hand sanding. It's tons of fun, and I could sit out here and do it all day. Not really, it was kind of a joke. It's probably the most tedious thing in knife making is the hand sanding, but it depends on what style of blade you're going for, I suppose. If you're wanting a super clean and crispy looking blade, then it's super important to hand sand, because especially if you're etching it, you know, if you're going to be etching it and you have a lot of deep scratches in your blade, then when you etch it in whatever you're using, I use ferric chloride, that will get down into those scratches, kind of like it did on this one. If I could get it in the right light for you guys to see, maybe move it over here for a second. Yeah, you can see down here sort of there's some deep scratches that I really didn't take the time to get out of there, and they get picked up pretty easy. So you really have to get it really good before you go into the etch, or you're going to end up with little scratches like this, you know, after you etch it. You pretty much, after you are done hand sanding and you go into the etch, that's kind of what you're stuck with unless you want to re-etch it. So that's why it's important to properly go through the hand sanding steps. And yeah, I've got quite a few little spots on the blade as well that are, I don't know what you would call these. I don't think they're delaminations necessarily, but just little areas that didn't forge weld super great. See if I can get you in the light so we can show you. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, right up in here, you can see these. These are all little areas that something happened. Really, just the two metals didn't quite get together and stick properly there. It could have been where the weld seam was, but once I flattened this out, I pretty much took this out of the middle of the billet, if that makes sense. You know, if the billet was something like this, I tried to take the knife from the inner portion and get rid of all the outer stuff, and then that way all the mild steel from the welding wire and stuff would be out of there. So I'm not really sure. I don't do a lot of hand forged Damascus or forge welding when it comes to blade making. I'm kind of new at it, so yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what that is, but I still have a little bit to go to get through all that stuff. I honestly don't know if I will hand sanding. I might bring it back to the belt grinder to get more of that. The other side though is pretty good. Don't really have any spots over there, so I might start on that side. It's kind of hard to see in here, so hopefully I can get you guys in a good spot. Not that you want to watch the hand sanding necessarily, I don't know. And for those of you who are still in here, this is a lawnmower shed in my backyard. To give you a little idea of what we're working with here. So this is the outside here. Got my house and kind of a tight little neighborhood with lots of houses nearby. And back here in the little corner of my backyard is where I do, like, not so much blacksmithing, it's more knife making at this point, but I really did start out with the idea of kind of messing around with blacksmithing. And then it kind of just went to knife making because that was a lot of fun. But yeah, anyway, I've got kind of a little shade cloth here, you know, some tables made out of some junk wood. This is where I throw my forge up here, and then got my anvil with some different hammers and tongs, and yeah, little vise stand here. So just kind of the bare bones basic stuff, but it's pretty good for a beginner, and for starting out, that's really all you need. And then yeah, the shop that I have is, like I said, like a 8x10 lawnmower shed, nothing fancy. And really, you see like a lot of, at least I did, YouTube videos of people making knives on YouTube, and you know, they all have super cool shops and power hammers and presses, and yeah, that stuff is really cool to have, and hopefully one day I'll have some of that, because that would make life a lot easier. But you don't have to have that, and in fact, you don't really have to have a lot of space. If you have a garage or, you know, some little area, then you would have hopefully enough room to try to get into this hobby. And yeah, you really only need just a little bit of space, and really just a few things. I mean, the forge helps. If you're going to be forging your own blades, then you definitely have to have a forge. But some of the other tools and equipment, like the belt grinder. So I have a 2x42 Grizzly belt grinder, and that works pretty good for the most part. Got a 4x36 for some of the woodworking. Got a little portaband that I made a table for to help cut different things. Not this, but some knives and some wood and metal and stuff. And just all kinds of different chemicals and things over here. And then I got an oscillating spindle sander. This is more woodworking as well, but it does come in handy. And here's my little forge, nothing fancy. It's just a 1 one burner, single burner forge, and yeah, kind of the bare bones basic stuff. But with just that equipment, I'm able to cool things. I made this in that single burner forge. This is just like a kind of like a saber, you know, like a shape of a saber or a short sword. And I had to throw this in like in sections in the forge to get this hot enough to be able to stretch it out. This used to be a wrench, and heated up and stretched it out, and yeah. So I say all that to say you don't really need you know, fancy setup to get into this hobby. You really just kind of need a few things. So here's another one that I made. I don't know why I always show these. Every time I go live, I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. I'll just wing it, and I end up kind of pulling some of the knives out. This is one that I made out of a really large file and just turned it into like a dagger. Got some S-guards that I forged out of some mild steel. The bolster is mild steel, and then did bloodwood for the handle and a countersink drill bit for the pommel. And it's really cool, you know, it's just a cool thing to have. And although I didn't forge any of this, this was all stock removal minus the guard, it was still a lot of fun to make. So you don't even necessarily have to have a forge to get started. You can, you know, start out the way that I did with metal files and maybe a belt grinder. And, you know, if you keep a metal file cold enough while you're working the metal and taking it away, then you should be able to make a knife out of it. Here's one that I did out of a metal file. So, you know, they don't have to be super big. They can be something that you could carry with you on a day-to-day basis, something like this. And this is made out of a metal file. I didn't throw this in the forge at all. This was just strictly cutting it out with an angle grinder and doing the belt grinder, pretty much. Angle grinder, belt grinder, and then yeah, that's pretty much all it was, honestly. So yeah, there's ways to get around and start the hobby of knife making without having all of this super cool equipment. You can kind of just do basic stuff. So anyway, yeah, I'm not getting any more people in the comments. This happens sometimes. Last time too, I know that there were people trying to comment, or they were, and it might have just been my Wi-Fi. I'm not sure, but I wasn't able to really see any of the comments come in. And I've seen it happen at other lives before. Some of the other people I watch, that tends to happen. So I apologize if you're on and you're saying something. I don't see anything. I don't see any comments. The last one was Tracy. Oh, she's still here. I'm here watching and listening. Okay, so nobody's just saying anything. Thank you, Tracy. Much appreciated. Now I'm not going crazy. I know you're still here watching and listening. You're awesome. I hope upstate New York is treating you well this evening. I'm glad to have you here. I am going to continue hand sanding this blade a little bit. So yeah. Do you have plans this weekend, Tracy? What are you up to? Ooh, I got a lot of work to do. Yeah, she's got plans. I know she does. I don't know what she's doing. What do you guys normally do on a weekend? I normally try to go into chill mode and do the knife stuff, hang out with the kids, and just relax. Working on the hunting shack this weekend. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Man, I wish I could throw a picture up on here while we're live, but it's on my phone and I'm not that cool. I don't know how to a technology guy. But I do have a picture of my cousin who is from, I want to say Ogdensburg, but he now lives in Pittsburgh. Anyway, I made him a knife, and he also is a hunter, and I sent him the knife. He went out and killed a really pretty good sized deer with a bow, I believe, and then did some field dressing with it with the knife that I made him, and he sent me some pictures. It was really cool to know that he put the knife to use. And yeah, hunting is something I've never done before. I think it'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I was saying earlier when I started the video or whatever we're doing, that this morning I woke up and realized that I was at 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And it took me quite a while. I've been doing this since July of last year, so almost 14 months pretty much. And it took me about 3 months, I want to say 3 or 4 months to get 100 subscribers. And then it took me about 9 months to hit 500. And then just this morning I went over 1,000. So 14 months of videos to get to 1,000, which is crazy. Little River Forge. Hey, I finally made it to alive. What's up, buddy? How are you, man? If you guys don't know Little River Forge, he's got some really cool stuff. And he posts a lot too. He does kind of the same thing that I do, both make knives. He does a lot of forging, which is really cool. So it's always awesome to go over there and check out people like that. You know, I'm not an expert, and I love picking up tips and tricks from other people. And even him, and I don't know your name, sorry about that, but just watching him work, or watching anybody work who's done things before, you can always pick up little tips and tricks, and it's really cool. I can't remember the last one that you did, but the one before that, you forged something, and the profile was cool, and I wasn't sure exactly what you called it, but I did watch that one, and it turned out really good. So yeah, so go check him out if you get the chance. Go over there, subscribe to him. Subscribing is free. It doesn't cost anybody anything. And I think for the most part, you know, I don't think many people that do YouTube videos, I mean, some of them maybe they don't care about subscribers. It's not the only reason I'm doing this, but it is cool to see you get more subscribers, and just meeting people and interacting with people is always really cool. So yeah, so go over there, give him a like, check out one of his videos, and subscribe, and you'll be happy you did. And what's cool about it too is you can go subscribe and then don't go watch one of his videos if you don't want to, or watch one and then never watch another one. I'm not saying do that, but what I am saying is subscribing never hurts anybody, and it helps the person out, gives them a little bit of you know, some extra something to keep going and making stuff. I've done a Puko and a drop point. The drop point hunter, that's what it was. That was a cool blade, and I don't know if I watched the Puko or not, but I'm a big fan of drop point blades. Love them. I did a while back, this is probably 6 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that. I did a really good sized, probably something like this. It was a drop point recurve knife, and I actually put that one on my Etsy page, and one of the viewers off YouTube bought it, and I miss it. I'm glad that I sold it, but man, do I miss it. That was a really cool knife. So yeah, I really like the profile that you did with that one. Yeah, and for those just joining now, I'm just doing some hand sanding on one of the blades that I'm working on now. I was telling people earlier I was doing some Damascus, and yeah, was trying my hand at hand forged Damascus. I don't have a power hammer or a press, and it is a ton of work beating something super thick like this out. And this isn't even really that bad, but it started out pretty good size. It just takes a lot of hitting it. But anyway, I had another one like this. It broke off into two sections, and the center of it just didn't forge weld right. So this is half of the section. I was able to get this, and the other half I stretched out into this thing and beat it out long and rounded it over and twisted it. And I was showing this one earlier, and it's, you know, one of the first Damascus-ish type blades that I made. The lighting in here stinks. Hold on. Hopefully you can see that. So it's got some twist to it. It's not perfect. The grind lines are pretty crappy, but it had a lot of like delaminations in some spots, and I knew it wasn't going to be, you know, a masterpiece. So I was like, oh well, but I definitely wanted to finish it, so I turned it into this. And then the other half of the billet is this guy, and I'm actually pretty excited about this one. This one should be pretty cool. It's gonna be cool when it's done, and it'll probably take me another, I don't know, week or two to finish this one, just because I don't do a whole lot of work at one time. I pretty much do like an hour or two at a time when I have time. But if you're interested to see how this one turns out, it should be worth coming back to check out. I'll put a video on this once it's done, and it should be pretty cool, the pattern when it's done. So yeah, anyway, where are we at? 30 minutes, 32 minutes. That's about where I wanted to be. I appreciate all of you guys coming on here, saying hey, and really just Tracy and Little River Forge and Duck, and hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Nope, Duck, Tracy, Little River. Appreciate you guys coming on and saying hey. I'm glad you guys made it, and yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be sure to continue making the videos. Thanks for your support, all three of you guys. And thanks for getting on and saying hey. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Excuse me. And yeah, get out, do something fun. Good luck with the hunting shack, Tracy. I'm sure that'll go good for you. And to Duck and Little River, we'll catch you guys soon, I'm sure. Glad you guys hopped on and said hey. Everybody else, peace out. Y'all have a good weekend. Bye. 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 Are we done? I don't know if we're done yet. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. End. End. There's still a while.